When Jesus was talking to his disciples that evening before he died, he knew that they were afraid. He was going to die, and that meant for them that they would lose him, that he wouldn't be there anymore, and they were feeling lost even before he went. They'd had all these dire warnings, there was this feeling of tension in the air, and they were scared, and he knew it. And he said to them, I'm not going to leave you like orphans. I will come to you. What words of comfort those words are. That promise is true for us as well as for the disciples. God isn't going to leave us abandoned, scared, on our own, like orphans. He is going to come to us. Well, that's all very well, you might say, but look at us at the moment. Our churches are closed, we can't meet for worship, we can't have communion. How are we feeling God with us? And that's what I want to address today. Because the focus shouldn't be on what we don't have, but on what we do have. It shouldn't be on the absence, like our absence of church services, but on the presence, because God is with us. Let's not worry about what we haven't got. Let's think about what we have. Let's not worry about what we can't do, but focus on what we can, because we can worship God. And we can worship him together. We're doing it right now. Even if you're watching this film at a different time from most of the church community, you're still joining with us in one unity of sharing in a message. We are together, and God is with us. If you want to feel the presence of God, to know that he's with you, then pray. Pray by speaking to God, pray by listening, pray by reading the scriptures, pray by singing. Pray by saying the Our Father or other formal prayers, or pray by making it up and saying whatever's in your head. Pray sitting in a particular place or walking in the countryside. But I'm hoping you're getting the message here. Pray. Pray, read the scriptures, and know that God is with you. He is with us all. And there are other ways we can experience God's presence too. We can experience God's presence in everything we do if we do it for love of him. Brother Lawrence said, if I pick up a straw and I'm acting out of the love of God, I will feel God's presence with me. For some people, and especially the sort of people that call themselves people persons, community is hugely important, and that not being able to all of us get together in one big group is really hard. But the community does still exist. It's just that we don't meet together on a Sunday morning in a church building. And so you can connect to that community. If you're feeling lonely and you want to experience the presence of God through somebody else, pick up the phone. Don't wait for them to call you. Pick up the phone. Make that phone call or WhatsApp call or FaceTime call, or get out your computer and use House Party or Zoom or whatever your favourite bit of software is. Make contact. Send an email. Send a letter. Go and knock on somebody's door. Step back a few paces so that you've got the 2 meters between you, and have a chat. Arrange to go for a walk and meet in the park and sit on opposite ends of that park bench. Spend time together. Community is still there. It's just that we have to make a little bit more effort now. But God is with us. And even when you're on your own, you can find God with you. You can find him in scripture and in prayer. You can find him in music. The composer Nigel Osborne said, "When you listen to music, you are not alone." Now, what Nigel Osborne meant was that if you're listening to music, you're listening to a band or an orchestra or an organist, a pianist, a singer. You're listening to all of those people and all of the background people working together to make the music. But I think there's something more than that. Music is a gift of God. So when you're listening to music, you're hearing that gift of God. God is with you too. So if you're listening to music and you're on your own at home, then let that music lead you into being still or dancing, praising or singing. And you know what? It doesn't matter how ungainly you might be or how graceful, because only God is looking, and God thinks that whatever you do is really beautiful. And there's nature too. Go for a walk if you can, or just go and sit and look and listen if you can't. Use all of your senses. Look at colours and textures. Stop and stare at things. Paul and I went for a walk yesterday, and while we were out, we saw some astonishingly bright orange flowers. They were stunning. It stopped me in my tracks. It reminded me of the brightness of God's love. And then a few paces later, we stopped and I picked up a pine cone. A beautiful, perfect, complex, wonderful thing. Something that throws out life as it throws out pine seeds to create new life and growth. And yet makes the most wonderful toy, or perhaps this is my first Christmas decoration, collected well in advance. And it reminds me that God is with me in nature. Or if you're indoors and you can't get out, maybe it's that rainy day, just look around you because it's there, God's there. Perhaps there's a piece of fruit in your fruit bowl. Just look at the variety of colour on this apple. Taste it. Smell it. God made all of that. He's pretty clever, isn't he? And God, in making all of this, made you too. He's present with you, loving you in all that you see. God is with us all. He hasn't left us. We are not abandoned like orphans. He is present with us in all things, in the things around us that we see, in the music, in the bird song, in the phone calls and the messages. And he's still with us in church because we're still a church community. We still worship on Sunday. Or perhaps if you want to see a face and hear a voice, you might find a way to join in with the Zoom service on a Wednesday. You can phone into it if you want to, if doing it on a computer doesn't work for you. And you can join in with daily prayer. You might do it live on WhatsApp, or you might be reading the printed version of the daily prayers that I've sent out to you. It doesn't matter how you're doing it, it's that you're doing it. Remember, it's what we have that matters, not what we don't have. What we can do, not what we can't. God is there in the present positives. Don't focus on what you think is an absence, but on what is a real presence, because God is with us and he loves us today, right here, right now. May God bless you this week.